Here we go. Jim Jones is at it again. His latest live stream. He brings in somebody with a established planted tank. And this gentleman's put 2 discus in it. They look like they've been here a while. And maybe a couple of months. Their eyes are already huge. They're already drastically stunted. One of them's not eating. I heard that I haven't been through it all yet, but I just heard that and I backed up. So, here we go.
There they are. Some blues. They're pretty big.
They're not big at all.
They are.
One's bigger than the other, but the bigger one, it acts really interested in eating. It picks on everything in the
They're
tank,
barely 4 inch.
but it ignores anything I put in the tank. Like,
It should be
it's
5 or
all
6 by
recognized
now.
with a spoon. But the
Right.
thing, she's all excited when I come in. She's expecting mosquito larvae. I tried a few things and she wouldn't eat it.
She wouldn't eat
Take
it.
it in her mouth and spit it out.
That means
But
she's
the mosquito
suffering.
larva, the smaller one loves it.
Huh. They're
And
pretty.
Together, I mean, they're
They
usually
are.
side by side, kind of rubbing each other.
Are they wild? They look wild.
They're a wild color, but they're captive bred.
But they are wild pattern.
No, they're not.
Color, yeah.
These are not wild. They're not even remotely wilds.
There's a hunt.
Not even remotely wilds. They look absolutely nothing like a wild pattern. Just goes to show you these people know nothing about discus. That's why they're putting them in tanks like this. This guy, one of them looks decent, but you heard him. One of them's not eating. One of them's being fussy. Let's see if we can find out exactly how long he's had them. I'm guessing he's had them for a couple months. They're doing better than most discus do in a swamp tank, but they're still not doing good. They're still not doing good. Their eyes are huge. Their fins are larger than their bodies, which isn't always bad, but when it looks like this, I don't know, I'm seeing stunting happen. These will not be full-size fish, and it's because he has them in this environment.
Hard to come by anymore.
Yeah, I know. Everybody likes the orange ones and the red.
Still thinks they're wilds. Just ridiculous. These are like about the lowest quality brown discus you can get. And they're not anywhere near a wild in appearance or anything else. Not even close.
Yeah.
I really like those. Those are so unique.
The first one,
They're about as common as it gets. They're about as common as a pigeon blood.
as I ever saw in my life in a store.
First one he ever saw in his life. I see nothing but these everywhere. They're just Turks, and they're crappy looking Turks with very poor color, but that's probably again because they're suffering.
And they were like big as dinner plates. And
Wow.
that file called heckle discus.
Now he's calling them heckles. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Yeah.
And
That forehead is thinning. That forehead is thinning. You see how there's you see how the point comes up and then there's an abrupt sort of end and then you start getting the razor blade look? Okay? It should be fat and transition into the fin smoothly. This fish is starving. Probably not eating nearly as well as it should because it's uncomfortable in its environment.
I've loved natural looking patterns ever since. 'Cause I've been in the hobby for a while. I was around before all these fancy colors.
This is not natural looking patterns. This is why you don't take discus advice from the swampers. You just don't do it. They're all sitting here going to learn a hard lesson. At least this guy only bought 2, and he's on his way to losing 1. One of them, this one, might be adaptable, but it will still end up stunted. I mean, it's already a 3-eyed discus, and this is the one that's doing better. Like, you could fit one here, and you could fit one here. If you can't fit 4 eyes, you've stunted it. Again, I could fit one here, and I could fit one here, but I can't fit 4. These fish aren't even 4-inch yet, and they're stunted. And normally, if you stunt them when they're this small, this badly, and you don't correct the problem so they can continue to grow, their brains outgrow their skulls, they develop encephalitis, and they die. It's a very slow, painful death for them. And let's say for some reason they didn't live, they survive as a 3.5 or 4-inch discus of this size. If they stayed alive, they're basically going to suffer from like headaches and pain their entire lives. If you stunt them too badly, and all that discomfort from being stunted is just going to cause them stress and kill them anyway. So that's how this works, unfortunately.
First started popping up.
The camouflage that those bars create in the wild is just amazing.
Oh yes, the bars are a wild thing that's amazing. When discus show bars, they're not happy. The babies will show bars, and so like, but as you can see, when they get, that one there is not showing bars, so he's better off, but he's still stunted. It's not hurting him yet. This one is starving and uncomfortable and stunted and is showing bars. This one will be showing bars soon too, I assure you. It probably normally does, and maybe this is just a good day after a water change. But these fish are not doing well at all.
If they're against the background,
At least they're not hiding in the back. So, like I said, despite their massive stunting, they're doing better than most that I see in a swamp tank. But, surviving is not thriving, and they're not thriving.
of tree branches, you could have a hard time seeing the fish with that patterning.
That is really cool.
And you can see how he goes around and he's constantly picking on everything. But he ignores any food I put in the tank.
Yeah. When discus go around and they're eating off of the decor and the vegetation like that, they don't do that when they're feeling okay. You won't see my discus do that. They just don't do that. When I had sick discus, they did that. Just pointing that one out too.
That's funny.
That's strange.
I even put live Daphne, and they just ignored it. So there's Daphne in here somewhere.
What size tank is that?
It's a 40 breeder.
Okay. Oh my God, I thought it was a 75. So those fish are real small. This is a 40 breeder. Really, really small. Oh my God. I thought he had a 75 because I just assumed that people don't put discus in 40 breeders. They're full of other life. I mean, wow. So those fish might not even be 3 inches big, which means they're doomed for sure. If they're this stunted at that size, they're as good as dead.
Yeah.
Back up, maybe you can see it better.
Oh, you're a huge 40 breeder.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was getting a pretty good bit of algae and cyanobacteria in it. It's only been set up 3.5 weeks.
There it is. There it is. It only took him 3.5 weeks to stunt those fish that badly. Now, I doubt he bought them looking like that at the pet shop. Okay. Maybe they were a little stunted when he brought them home already, but I doubt it. I doubt it. But there you go. Starting not to eat, getting skinny, 3-week mark. I've said it before. You can drop healthy discus in a swamp tank, and they'll do good for about this long. And then the decline begins. And he's already talking about the symptoms of decline. And I'm already seeing them, and I've already pointed them out. It's hilarious. But this is a great idea, folks. Okay? Let's promote it. These people are insane.
And so I turned the intensity of the lights down and added a bunch of water lettuce, and the algae's fading away, but the cyanobacteria is like, it's coming on strong in a few places.
Oh, that cyanobacteria is just something they don't like either. Yeah. It's like I'm listening to them admit failure, but they don't realize that's what they're doing.
Oh no.
I went outside yesterday and I just found, well, I think it was yesterday or the day before, and I had a tub that I was keeping excess water lettuce in last summer. And so once all the water lettuce that was in it died out in the winter, I removed it all, but I left the water and I let it fill up with leaves, debris. And I went out there yesterday to look for some mosquito larvae to feed these, see if these discus would be interested in that, and found it to be full of daphne.
Oh wow. Okay. So he's skimming mosquito larvae and daphnia out of a pond outside and bringing it into his house and introducing it into his tank. So let's just infect the tank with all kinds of quote unquote natural biology, right? It's the biotope, as they call it. Yeah, he's just enriched his biotope, I suppose. And now we have who knows what pathogens from that muddy pond or puddle in his tank. And okay, a minute ago the setup was 3 weeks old, and now the tank's a year old. So make up my mind. How long have you had the discus? I'd be shocked if you actually stunted them that bad in 3 weeks, but it's possible.
Wow, that's impressive.
I don't know where it's from, because, I mean, I never put them in there, and they hadn't had no, debris or resurrection jar material put in. They just run from nowhere.
They just came from nowhere, yeah. They didn't like hitchhike in on your net that you used to scoop up a bunch of mosquito larvae. That couldn't have happened, right? They just came out of nowhere. Never had scuds in my tank come out of nowhere.
And through the air.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, they came in through the air. What do you know? And they just showed up.
That is amazing. I was shocked. I saw them. I started sucking them up with a pipette and putting them into my resurrection jars. So I'm
Right.
more going.
Yeah, this guy even wears a shirt with Father Fish's face on it. It's that pathetic.
Definitely.
All right. Well, I won't take.
And I guess we'll end it here because the man's going to show his face in a second, and I don't want to. I'm not about that. I'm not trying to talk about the individuals. I'm trying to talk about their fish and their mistakes. So I'll be blurring his little name out on the screen, and I won't be showing his face. I'm about showing the fish and talking about the problems with the fish themselves. Couldn't care less about the people. They made their bed. And I wouldn't even try to convince this guy to change his mind, because it would just be futile. It would be a futile effort. These fish will die in front of his face, and he will have every other excuse in the world except that they died because he put them in a swamp tank. That's how these guys operate. It's denial, denial, denial. hope you all have a nice day.